All right, it's your boy KJ, and we're getting ready to start the mix process of this track. It's called Let It Rise. This is a GMT gospel multi-track type thing. All right, so my job is to break this down and get to mixing. Now, in the previous video, I did some cleaning up to do. Well, clean it up, said that wrong. Did some cleaning up. All right, and we colored everything. We gave a couple of tracks a new name to kind of help me go through everything. So now we are prepared to mix. And what's going to happen is I'm just going to mute all of this here. All right, I'm gonna mute that because what I want to do is focus on the drums. Actually mute the drum track as well. And I'm going to put a solo, not a solo, but a loop around the section where it seems that the drums will, you know, kind of go in. Sound like the drummer got off in one area. Didn't sound that clean to me. So this is good because I get to show you guys exactly what I do and all the things that happens in the background. All right, so what we're gonna do, since we're working on drums, we're gonna actually group these together. All right, we're gonna create a new group. We're gonna label our group drums. So let's just say drums down here in your mix area. All right. So all I did was select all of the drums at the same time so I can group it together. But we're not done. Click the settings, and we want to make sure that we can edit. Make sure the edit selection is selected as well. So now when I click on it, everything highlights. Just one region, and then it'll highlight or select all of the regions that's a part of this group. All right, so I'm gonna turn on this loop. Actually turn it up a little bit because it was kind of low, so we can hear what's going on. Okay, I'm actually turning on the metronome as well. So we're gonna zoom in a little bit. All right, sound like it was something clipped or the comping wasn't as perfect. That's what it sounded like, but we're not gonna mess with that. We're just gonna focus on this one little section here. You see how the drums is just slightly off. So what I usually do, since I have everything selected, just click one, and I'll just double click there. Actually, I clicked a little bit too far in. Okay, so I'm gonna just select there. And we're gonna just work with this little section right here. I can actually get rid of that stuff just to make my screen a little bigger. Yeah, get rid of that stuff. So we're gonna work on this section right here, and we're gonna re-loop this here. Actually, we're gonna move it here. Trying to find that perfect spot where I know is so typically what you don't want to do, okay, this is the hats, right? The hi-hats, right? And typically what you don't want to do is cut in the middle of something that's going on. But in the case of this, I sort of have to, but we're going to use crossfading, which will kind of help you know, everything sound like it was played that way. So what I typically like to do is I'll zoom in and I'll use these little, I don't know what you call them, but it's the grid up here right at the top, right? And as you can see, the transient here, all right, let's see if I can highlight that. The transient here, up here, is not falling in line with this up here, which is the 30-second bar. All right, so let me unselect that. So all I'm gonna do is just click here and hit my control, which will allow me to nudge over without clicking, you know, smart clicking or snapping to the grid. So click, then hit the control right afterwards, and it just allow me, as you can see, it's moving pretty smoothly. All right, so let's listen to that. All right, sounds a lot better on timing, but there's a clipping. We don't want to clip, you know. As soon as it get right here, and actually this process right here is a part of the cleaning up process. But you know, sometimes you don't get into it until you get ready to start mixing and you start hearing things when you start soloing, you know, soloing things here and there. So what I'm gonna do is put a crossfade here. All right, now I don't know if you heard that, but there was a slight, yeah, that was a slight. So we exit out of here and kind of move this back a little, and then wait. Don't want to do that because everything was selected. That means the other end of this region right here moved back too. So we gotta be careful. You know, you don't want to do that. So, what the heck? Just edit. Let's see what happens. That sounds a whole lot better to me. Now, what I'm going to do here is kind of make this come back here. And let me show you guys this as well. Like working with drums, here's an easy way to create that crossfade. You go up here and you just simply select X fade. So that means when I come back, it's gonna create that fade automatically. Still not perfect, but see, that's in the recording. Okay, that's just gonna have to do for right now. If I play it with the music, you know, let's see if it makes a huge difference. Still kind of hear it. Still hear it a little bit. Let's see. I don't want to spend too much time. Yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on this. For the sake of the video, I'm just gonna move on. I'm not gonna even worry about that little area. I'll fix that later. But yeah, it could be fixed. I'll fix it later. All right, so that's just that one thing I heard that bothered me, and so you know, you guys can see how grouping works. All right, so let's go ahead and try to make some sense out of this here. I'm just gonna pick a section and just now when you mixing, let's turn off the groups because it kind of don't make no sense to have that activated. Now that we got the kick solo, because I've been doing this for a while, I can kind of hear a frequency in there that I want to eliminate. But we're gonna go ahead and start boosting the kick a little bit. The plugin I like to use is, nope, I didn't even put it in there. Got to go to audio units, and I like to use the API 550A, and I'll start off using a preset. What is it? Let's go with one. Let's bypass that. Now it's back in. So immediately it boosts. Now let's see what the I like that better. It's between 2 and 3. I like this. We're going to kind of do it like that. All right. So now the next thing we're going to put on this channel is a compressor. And it's always, don't feel like you don't know what you're doing. Even the advanced people, if you start out with presets, that's totally fine. It's not because it takes away from the fact that you've been mixing for some years. It's just, sometimes it's just easier to find a preset and then, I actually like that. No, that's too much going on right there. So the rock kick, or I actually like the way it sounds right there. Just fall back on the ratio. Really, the concept behind all of this is just going for what you hear. There's no science, no real science to this. It's just going. I don't like to peak either. And I like to use a limiter as well. Love to exaggerate sometimes, Seemed like the limiter was taking a whole, like a chunk out of the beefy. So let's move to the snare and see what that sounds like. See, the snare sounds good already the way it is. Less is more, I don't mix to, put in all the plugins I ever have. I mix to taste. The snare could definitely use a compressor. Just a slight compression, not a whole lot. And I like to pan the hats to the left, like I'm on the set myself playing. The hats are usually to the left. Just take that down some. And let's put an EQ on it. We can start off with a preset. The brighten the hi-hats. Let's go to the toms. So let's go to a tom heavy area. Okay. Sound like it looked like the tom is picking up everything just by the way it look in the transient. All right, so we're gonna pan the. I know I said when the hats to the left like I'm sitting on the drums, but I just like it when the tom one is on the right, and I don't know what the science is behind it. I don't know. Just give it a twist sometimes. Or you can do it the other way around. Let's see what it sounds like if I did it like this. And what the third time, which is typically the floor time, is usually on the right, so I always kind of give it like an 18 plus 18 dB for panning. And really what I like to do on the toms is also use, I like using the AP stuff, period. The API on essentially everything. So because the AP stuff, the API stuff, this just sounds so good. So I'll do something like, and don't get me wrong, the drum sounds wonderful. They sound wonderful the way that they are now, but just to give it a little bit more boost and tonality, I like to use the API stuff on the whole kit. So here's the high tom, and then here we're gonna look for a, let's see, we're going for say ragtime. Okay, we need to go to a tom heavy section. Let's see. As you can hear, it's already like a boost. Yeah. Third time is kind of low. Now let's activate the overhead. The overhead, I like to use Logic stock overhead preset. Brighten overhead. Okay, we got too many plugins over and starting to aggravate me. Now, when I start to see that I'm going over the 0 point, I pull back. You see, at 3, I don't like that. So, what I'm gonna end up doing is putting a compression with the limiter or a limiter on the actual summing track, which is the drum track or the auxiliary or a bus, whatever you want to call it. So turn the analyzer on, see what's going on. Pan that to the left and the right to the right. Let's see what's going on right here. All right. So what I also like doing to kind of give the drums that like, ooh, that was, ooh, right. You know, you hear how they sound now. I love using the Kramer tape. Love this plugin. This is what glues it all together for me. I like to use the soft compression. And right there, ladies and gentlemen, that Kramer tape, it kind of put everything in perspective as far as threshold levels as well, because it's not even peaking anymore. Now, what I also like to do is I like to send a little bit of this to a reverb. So I'm going to create a reverb channel for drums, call it verb, and let's go for let's see, I got so much stuff in here. It's like you sometimes you're like, man, where am I going? I was going here, but I like the RC48 by Native Instruments. Turn my send up. Actually, I'll take that back. I'm going to not do that because I don't like using reverb on my kick. So I apologize for that. I strayed y'all away, and I apologize for that. All right, so we're gonna bust all of these. Everything else but the kick. I like my kick to stay dry. Actually, it almost sounds perfect. Like I didn't do anything to it. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it just like that. That sounds perfect. Sometimes you don't need to, you know, and I'm using different things every time because I'm also still, you know, learning and doing new things, new tricks. So, you know, the settings are never the same. Put a EQ. Actually, let me put a reverb on that on the conga. I'll just bust it. Put a reverb on that shaker too. And the time to ring. I could have actually just put just a reverb on it on the entire summing auxiliary channel, which could have worked as well. But I can imagine that the boom would sound. The boom is not in here yet. I gotta get it in here. Let's see. So what I was doing was I was trying to bring in a little low end on the kick, and I was going to do it with this EQ, but I don't need it. Trying to keep it from clipping. I don't like clipping. Okay. Heard something that I didn't like. Let's find out what that problem is. And see, this is part of the problems. This is why mixing takes a while, because that's actually coming from the bass. You gotta find those problems. Okay, let's come back. Yep, that got to be cleaned up. And usually, sometimes what I do is I'll go to another section in the song and copy or cut and then paste it in this section to make it a clean transition. You know, that's what I do sometimes, because you really can't fix that, you know, by like coming in and cutting and trying to do some surgical, editing or whatever. We just you gotta find another section in the song that's doing the same thing and come back and put it there. So that's 77. Remember that. All right, let's see if we can find $49. All right, let's grab 49 and let's copy that. And what was it? 77? Oh, 77. All right, let's see what happens. That was 76. My bad. Ladies and gentlemen, ooh, that was sweet. That was sweet. So what I'm gonna do is cut. I'm gonna cut that, and I'm gonna move that back and kind of do like a crossfade. I just put it there first to see what it'll sound like. Let's see. Okay, I didn't know what I'm gonna do here. Is come on, there. Wait, there we go. Just like that. Clean, clean, clean. All right. So we're gonna crossfade that. Let's crossfade this too. Yep. That's it. That's how I do things. That's how I roll. I also put a compressor on the bass. You can also go and find a preset. See, these presets are here to help us. Fed bass. Sounds distorted. Hear a problem frequency. There we go. So let's take that out. Wait, where you go? You hear that? We just took it out. I don't know if you guys heard that, but there was a problem frequency in the bass, and I just solved that problem. Too much ringing and not a lot of snare, so for me it's just going track by track, you know. Gotta do what I would do sometimes, I'll add compression, or grab one of my favorite toys by Sound Toys, which is a chorus or chorus. Okay, that's partially embarrassing. Let me grab my key. Okay, we back. Hopefully this do the trick. I had to reboot my Logic because the authorization for what I'm trying to use did not activate because I didn't have the iLock in my system. So it clowned me, guys. All right, so let's bypass that. Let's hear what we were listening to before. Now let's activate. Major improvement. As a matter of fact, I think this is supposed to be stereo because I'm looking at it. Yeah. That's too much chorus on it. Without it, with it. Gave it that sense of width. Widened it a little bit. This is say a piano. Or aggressive. Back off there. Organ in there, just glue it all together. As a matter of fact, let's copy and paste the chorus in there. Turn the chorus up some. Let's get some reverb on that organ. All right, let's back it up. Let's get an EQ on this. Really is mono. Let's get a reverb on this piano. Turn it up some. Sound like it's buried in it. On this here. See, the only time you use plugins on each channel or any given channel is when you need to achieve something different from everything else. But as you can see, I'm using my sends to send, right now I'm just using reverb on everything. In order to do that, I'm just sending everything to the reverb channel. I'm not putting reverb on each channel. So just to show you guys what's going on there. kind of bring it out and glue it together. That's all. First of all, so they both strumming. Let's see. Sounds good. Let's send them both to reverb, get a little reverb on it. They sound identical to each other, but just playing different parts. So in this situation, I'm going to create another track stack, and this is just going to be for the guitars. Now usually I'll mix them differently and have different things going on, but they sound identical to each other, because usually there will be a rhythm guitar, and then there will be like a lead guitar, or there will be like you know, just something different with a different tone on it, and it will require for you know, just a different type of processing. But in this case, it's like they both the same thing, but they are, and this is avoid putting EQ on both channels, in my opinion. So I could still do that individually, process them individually, but you know, I'll just kind of keep things going like this. We're gonna go for guitar. Let's start with there. Immediately, presence. Compression, absolutely. Let's label that guitar just so we know. All right, now I did definitely heard, I definitely heard the pick hitting the body of the guitar, possibly the mic. Yeah, it has to be the mic, because it sounded like it was hitting against that. That's fixable. Matter of fact, let's just take that off the send, and let's just use the group and send. I'm just being difficult. All right, so we're going to use the group instead and send. Now that's the pad sound, and you know what I'm finna do to that, right? I have to, guys. So since we already have a chorus over here, we just gonna copy this on over. You already knew it. You knew it was gonna happen. Let's start that up. can't really tell a difference. Exaggerated. Let's add some compression to that. Let's add some bottom end, just a little bit to that. Let's add some 500 in there. And essentially the pads are used, save. The pads are used to thicken the strings in the synth. So okay, we gotta add this in. Can I get a little more snare in my headphones? Absolutely. So we're gonna select everything, bring it down some. Cause like I told you, I don't like bleeding. And what will glue this all together better than the crammer tape on the final channel? All right, same thing. We're gonna go to soft compression. Bass sound too strong. Just give it a 200 boost, 200 hertz, and kind of back down on the all right, and that's just really to just glue it all together. And it don't stop there. I like to finish this with and this is not mastering, guys, but this is just to give the track a sense of a polished sound. You know, you can do this yourself, but this is just a polished sound. I do not claim to be a master engineer. As a matter of fact, I do not claim to be a mix engineer, but these are things that I do to get the job done. All right, to get the sound as premium as possible. Absolutely, there's definitely other ways you can do this. You know, there's a lot of more. There's more techniques. There's probably far more better techniques than what I just showed you, but this is how I do it. This is how I do it, guys. This is what I do. This is how I complete the mix. And I love Ozone 6 because it just makes everything sound so beautiful. All right. It's been a long time. It's about an hour. But yeah, just imagine how much time, you know, it takes to get behind something like this with the vocals and other things that you got to do. Yeah, this is the time that it takes us to do stuff like this. Intro 2, 3, 4. Let's get some stereo width. Kick need a little more work. Yep. It was too heavy. Needed to cut through a little bit better. 2, 3, 4. The voice cues can actually use some compression just so it can come up some. Chain 2, 3, 4. Repeat 2, 3, 4. Build it up. Drive 2, 3, 4. Sometimes need some compression on it. As a matter of fact, what will glue the drums together is something I love using, which is a 3A. That's the problem. That's why you see me over here turning up everything. The 3A for some reason just makes everything, but it may crush. I don't know. Sometimes it crush. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. 2, 3. Uh-oh. I know y'all heard that, you know, on video. I cannot let that ride. Because y'all going to be like, man, that dude, yeah. He heard that mistake and he let that ride. But I showed you how to fix that before. Back at the bass. 2, 3. All right. So I'm gonna just go in and just get rid of that. And actually, because this right here is doing the same thing, let's copy that. Put that right there. Check this out. Actually, it sounded like he was trying to transition to the next note. So let's bring that back some. 2, 3. Yep. That's it, everybody. That's how I do what I do. I get done what I need to get done. And I hope that this video was very helpful to you. I know it was very long. I apologize for that. But the most important thing I want you guys to remember most of all, music is art. You are the artist. Paint your picture.